Good night, everyone. Good night. Let's see if I can pop my specs on without getting a glare. Let me see. Let me see. While y'all are trickling in, good night. I'm super excited to have this conversation tonight. You might hear my children because it's not quite 8:30 and 8:30 is their bedtime. Um, but yes, I hope y'all have had an amazing day, an amazing week. I feel like my glasses. See, this is why my having my husband home is the best. He's been in New Orleans, um, supporting his parents for the last week, and y'all, I miss my man. But all is well. It's so good to see y'all here tonight. And tonight's conversation is super good. I came kind of fresh faced, didn't put together any of that because, for a specific reason, because of the question tonight in our Ask Yahya segment. This is brand new. We're rolling it out. So send in your questions. We may answer some of them here live. So, because of tonight's question, I definitely wanted to come ready for bed. Actually, it's about to be my bedtime too, but come um not naked, but undone. We see so many people done up all the time, and there's no problem with that. Y'all know I love a good beat. But we that's what we see all the time, and we can start to judge ourselves and critique ourselves based on these standards of um a very put together and polished version of life that we get on social media. And so, what I know is everybody gets ready for bed at night. Okay. So, I wanted to just come in a very transparent way and show you what that looks like for me because of this question that's coming up. The woman who asked this question, I chose this one because we put a call out to our community a couple months back and started just kind of gathering questions. And this one kind of popped up again and again and again. And I think that, or I know that so many women that I know also struggle with, am I feminine enough? What if I don't feel feminine? And that's just such an interesting question to ask yourself as a woman, because as women, we get to define what femininity is. But as I read this, some thoughts came to me that I wanted to share with you all. And hopefully it'll feed somebody, hopefully it'll support someone on your journey of femininity. So, for those of you who are new here, who do not know who I am, maybe you just popped on, maybe someone sent you an invite and told you you got to watch this woman. I talked to a young lady last night. She was like, "My mom told me I had to watch you," and that's such a gift and such a blessing that we're all here in this space together. But if you're new here and you don't know who I am, I'm Yahya Smith. I am a wife of an amazing husband. I am the mother to four beautiful and loud children. So if you hear them in the background, just know, they're fine. Um, Three of them are boys, so it's a whole nother thing. I am a coach to a wonderful community of women and a contributor to just a great village and community around me. And my mission is to help women reconnect with their feminine without losing themselves, without losing what you've worked hard to create and build, without losing your ability to be yourself in the world. So often, when we hear femininity, we think that it means, or we're told that it means, now you got to go buy all new clothes and you got to do all these things, wear makeup if you've never worn makeup before. If you wear makeup, you wear too much makeup, so wear less makeup because that'll make you more feminine. And I'm here to give you, or reintroduce you to what is already in you, at your essence, at your core. and show you how to use that to create success all over your life. And so that's who I am. I'm going to hop right into the question because it is a little bit late. It's time for everybody to be, well, some of us ain't getting ready for bed, but I like to get ready for bed a little earlier now just to, nurture my body. So, my reader or watcher says, I've been watching your videos for a while and I just love how let's see, I love how you express so many things I'm thinking, but may not have the words for. You mentioned that being feminine is not about a uniform, and that hit me because it's a question I've been asking. The men I date love me at first because I do dress well, I always smell good, and in general, I keep a pretty drama free life, but they all end up saying that I'm closed off or masculine. I was raised by a strong mom who hustled so I can handle things on my own. They know that when they meet me, so what gives? I've really been working on tapping in and I'm looking forward to taking your next class, but since you asked for questions, I thought I'd send this one now. So, this is such a good question. This is such a good question for several reasons because a few things come up in this question. The first is that femininity is not a uniform. Now, if you've been around long enough, you have heard me say femininity is not a box that you need to try to fit yourself into. It is a blueprint to build your best life and to create repeatable results. If you have a blueprint, you can build that same house again and again and again, but you can only do so much inside of a box. And so I say that all the time. And I love that she brought that up here because it truly is not. And what many of us have been taught to do is to look good. And that's perfectly fine. Listen, I go to bed in, a nice robe. And so I get it. We've been taught to look good, but looking good is not the essence of femininity. It's not the essence of femininity. And so where she says, I do dress well, I always smell good. I know how to put it together. And I keep a pretty drama-free life because how often do we hear men say, "Oh, I want a woman that's going to be my peace." But then she says, but they all end up saying that I'm closed off or masculine. And so in that regard, here's the thing. As women, as a woman, you have to decide who gets to define feminine for you. Who gets to define that for you? Now, I am not the woman who says a man can't define femininity for a woman because absolutely, I don't believe that. First of all, most of what I know about femininity by definition, I learned being around men. But here's the thing. As a woman, you have got to decide that every man does not have the liberty to tell you what being a woman is. I see some women, in the online space and some folks pop into my inbox from time to time. Even friends who come around will say, "Oh, such and such online said women need to be like this," or all these alpha males online are saying women need to be like that. And at the end of the day, and at the beginning of the day, you get to decide which men and which women influence and dictate to you what femininity is, what balance looks like for you. And so in my book, The Feminine Success Book, there's a chapter on making men your allies. If you struggle with relationships with men, even friendships with men, that is a really good chapter to start with as it pertains to knowing which men to choose for your life. Um, I even have inside of Feminine Success School, we have a module on vetting male friends, male partners, all of that. And it's so important to know that just because someone says it does not mean that their opinion has to matter. That's the first thing. Now, let's say a man whose opinion does matter in your life, or a person whose opinion does matter in your life, says something like, you're closed off, or you are too masculine, or you don't feel feminine, you don't feel, ask them what they mean. Before you take it personal, before any of that, ask what they mean. And in that, does their meaning align with what you want for yourself? That's so important to know. What does femininity mean to you? What does femininity mean to you? Because what you've realized is that it doesn't mean I dress well and I take myself shopping and I buy nice things and I take great trips. It doesn't. While those are things that can feed your feminine side, which is what we're getting a lot of in the online space, is tactics to feed the feminine side. You've got to awaken the feminine first, or even identify and notice the feminine within yourself first. So my daughter is fighting with my sons, just so y'all know. So if you hear the little 3-year-old screaming, that's what's going on. There she goes. Um, oh my goodness. Hey husband, do you hear your children? Do you hear your children, husband? Y'all, my husband is here. He is on YouTube right now. Dropping me some roses in the comments. I appreciate you, my love. So those are my first thoughts. Know what femininity means to you. Know what femininity means to the person who is telling you you're not feminine enough, or I feel like you're too masculine, you're too closed off. I've heard women say you're distant, you're cold. I used to get distant a lot back before I was married and had gone through my own process. I used to get distant a lot because I was like ghoster supreme, and I hate saying that. I hate saying that because that's such a rude way to deal with people. But that was my toxic trait back then. But ask yourself, what is that to me? What is that to that person? Ask them. Don't ask yourself that, because you never want to assume there. And then also ask yourself, what is it to me? What is it to them? And how do I want to feel? What do I want femininity, or what do I desire femininity to feel like for me? Do I feel like this is something that a person may be complaining about, something that you don't have a problem with, that actually is supportive for you? And that's why it's important to know whose opinion matters. Whose opinion matters. The men who have taught me about femininity, the men who were able to say, that's not it. You get that together. Do that, do this like that. Those men were invested in me. They were invested in my success. They were invested in my development. And so it's important, again, in the Feminine Success book, there's a chapter on making men your allies. It's important to understand how to create that allegiance with the masculine, where you know the fake when it shows up because of how it shows up, really and truly. You know, a man who is not saying that for your good, for your growth, for your development. So then she says, I was raised by a strong mom who hustled so I can handle things on my own. They know that when they meet me, so what gives? So this is another one that I get a lot. I actually just talked to a client today who said this almost verbatim. Um, and here's the thing: you can handle things on your own, and you can also be supported. There's some things that maybe you can handle that you don't want to handle. And so learning how to open up in those ways and on a consistent basis where it becomes second nature to you, that is going to help you connect not just with men, but with people. And so she says, I've really been working on tapping in, and I'm looking forward to your next class. But since I asked for questions, I thought I'd send this one now. This is perfect. And really, for women who are asking, what do I do if I'm not feminine enough? The first thing is to ask yourself, because not everyone has this specific situation. Sometimes it's you that feels like, I'm tired of being like this. Like, I'm tired of being tough and rough and or doing everything on my own, or just fully focused, ambitious in that masculine side of myself all the time. If that's you and you're saying, it's me that feels this way, no one is telling me this is me that feels this way, then also ask yourself the same questions. What does femininity mean to me? What do I want this to feel like for me? A lot of times we start with the masculine side of femininity, which is the uniform, which is the part that you see. And we don't tap into the feminine, which is, how do I want it to feel? Not just how do I want it to look, not just how do I want it to smell, not just how do I want it to taste, not just what kind of trips do I want to take, but how do I want this to feel when it's just me and me? How do I want this to feel when I'm connecting with a man or a friend or a woman or whoever? How do I want this to feel when I'm working? And so that's why in Feminine Success, we focus on those four key areas: your thought life, so you and you, your home life, you and others, your work life, you and your work, and your relationships, you and your love and your loved ones. And so those are my thoughts. If you feel like, personally, I need to grow this part of myself, then I definitely recommend joining us in the Ease Experience. Hold on, let me click this out. The Ease Experience, which is coming up February. Hold on, let me find it. All my people, like my husband and my assistant, are like, what? Because I'm not techie. But February 15th through 17th, we are hosting the Ease Experience. So this is a coaching program, virtual retreat that will get you together. If you have ever taken my trainings, the master training, which we have retired, has changed so many lives. And so, what the Ease Experience is you get that master training, you get those master training videos, but then you also get 3 days of live coaching with me. You get community, you get accountability around the things that matter to you in this season. So often we know how to be held accountable for accomplishment. We know how to be held accountable for our money and our everything else, everything outside of us. But what about the parts of you that are upholding all of that? And so, and the parts of your life as well. So in the Ease Experience, you get the master training, you get access to those on-demand trainings so that you can go at your own pace. And then you also get access to live coaching and community. And so I'm excited to work with those of you who are ready. We have a webinar coming up next week on February 9th. So be on the lookout for that. So next Wednesday night, instead of being here on YouTube or Facebook or wherever y'all are joining me, we're going to be on the webinar. Okay. So be there. All right. But yes, if y'all have questions, we're gonna do this Ask Yahya probably about once a month. So if y'all have questions, send them in. We're here. Like, this is like I said, I've been doing this for 8 years now, but I've been doing this my whole life, and I'm gonna be here. When femininity is no longer a trend, I'm gonna still be here. Okay. So if that is what you are looking for, is that solid sounding board, that soft place to really take the time that you need to discover yourself in a guided way and to discover what femininity is to you, the kinds of relationships that you want, the kind of work culture that you want, then Feminine Success is the place to be. And I'm so glad that you found me wherever you found me. Let's keep building this. I am going to, you can get my book on Amazon. Actually, the Kindle version is available on Amazon right now, which is also interactive. I see Noelle asked this question. Let me actually show it. Perfect. The Kindle version is available on Amazon. We should, within the next, give it about a month, have more hard copies. So we have some really cool things that are coming out this year that will go along with the book as supplements. So if you have not grabbed it, go grab it on Amazon. You can read it on your phone. You can answer the questions. There are questions throughout the book that you can also answer that'll really take you on a journey of self-reflection. So thank you for asking that. But to say, yes, look at that display. Yes, yes, yes. Tyranika says, such a great read. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Storm Rain says, salute, peace, love, and blessings to you. I'm just going through you guys' comments to make sure. Oh, actually, I am going to answer this question. Carrie K, are you following me on Instagram? Because I think this will be really, really great for the stories. I'll answer this on Instagram since we're signing off over here. It says advice for plus size women on their femininity journey. I'm really I'm really tall and on my weight loss journey now, but have dealt with insecurities. I believe I'm overcoming, but need some guidance overall. Yes, I definitely would say, Carrie K, and I'm going to answer this again on Instagram, but I definitely would say, decide who gets to define your beauty standards. Decide who gets to define your beauty standards. And so if the beauty standard of America is not supportive for you, look into cultures where you are the beauty standard. Look into those cultures and find your models for femininity for yourself and admire what you see. Spend time admiring yourself as well. So I hope that that supported you, but I'm definitely going to, yes, I follow, I'll keep up with the stories. Yes, I'm definitely going to answer that on Insta as well, because I think that would be very supportive for women over there. Thank you for asking that. And I hope that that answer supported you, Carrie K. Let me know in the comments. Y'all share out this video. Send some friends over. I know that you know amazing women just like you. Don't keep this goodness to yourself. And I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Peace.